grab her for just 1 second?
Much. Hello. It's
Hi.
so wonderful to meet you both. I'm so excited to chat with you today about the drop.
Thank you.
You too.
Love your backdrop. The production's
I
gorgeous.
know. I need your
Oh,
plan.
thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so first of all, my first question is for you, Anna. So your character Lex is someone who is kind of on track to do all of the things you're supposed to do. She's very aspirational. She has a healthy relationship. She has a close-knit group of friends. She has a successful business, and she's on the way to making a family. And then the drop happens, right? And suddenly this whole internal can of worms is opened up, and she kind of has to confront what it means to make a decision like that, and how impactful that is. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, something I really loved in the script was the idea that, and what you're touching on, I think, is like the expectation also of, women often to like, you're just going to want a baby. This sort of limited thinking of like, you're going to want a baby. And then in this day and age, it's also like, well, and you'll work full time and you have to be perfect, of course. And as all mothers are, and parenthood in general, not just motherhood. And so I love sort of, she begins on that trajectory and then she drops someone else's baby and it drops away like that. She's dealing with the questioning of like, are the societal expectations and the expectations of myself what I really want, which then impacts, your character negatively. And then they have to grapple with the issues in their relationship. But I don't know. I just found that really compelling and refreshing to read a script about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think this does a really good job of kind of speaking to these very complicated and parts of a relationship over long periods of time. The love story doesn't end happily ever after. There's people change, they grow. And I think that this is an interesting view at that. Like in your case, Jermaine, your character, Manny, your life also totally changes in that moment. In a flash, your perception of the person who you were married to changes, and your view on what that future looks like. Can you talk a little bit about sort of the impactfulness of that for Manny?
The impact. As soon as the baby is dropped.
Impact.
Yeah.
Or as Julie says, what did she say?
Whack, whack, whack. That kills me. Whack. And the way she gets down, it's like Hercules.
So brilliant.
Or Thor, like boom.
Yeah.
His world shatters as soon as that baby is dropped. Again, his world was perfect leading up into that moment. He didn't even want to go to that vacation. He tolerates her friends because he loves her, and he tolerates a lot, honestly. And I think that drop, unfortunately, that baby had to get dropped for him to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? And it was definitely kind of like a challenge trying to internalize all the craziness going on it was so much going on. And I feel like Manny is, to this day, is probably still trying to figure out that vacation and that moment. Nothing's going to be figured out, and that, by the end of the film. Yeah, not perfectly. It's not a pretty ribbon that's being tied at the end of the movie. There's still, they love each other to the point where they still are trying to make things work. And so it's going to be, that's what love is, right? Like, it's just going to be, making sacrifices and dropping babies and,
trying again, failing.
Yeah, she might drop another baby. Who knows?
Yeah, it happens.
It's going to happen.
It does happen.
Yeah, I mean, all of my my friends who are mothers were like, "Oh, this is terrifyingly relatable because we've all dropped babies."
Right. I can't tell you how many people have interviewed us and being like, "You haven't dropped a baby."
Yeah, like, oh, judgy,
It actually happens a lot.
Yeah.
And that was also refreshing about the script. Where it was like, let's talk about things that nobody's talking about,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think you kind of touched on this a little bit about how, these characters are like, I would largely describe them as like self-identified liberals, but like even in that space, maternal ambivalence is totally still taboo, to the point where Lex, she can't even consciously engage with it. Like, it's her body that's sending up all of these signals,
Totally.
which I super connected with.
Yeah.
Was that something
Me
that
too.
spoke to you? Yeah. Can you talk a
Yeah,
little
I
bit
mean,
about
it's
that?
interesting because I remember being in daycare carrying a baby doll around and pretending to read to the older kids. Like, I always had this feeling that a lot of people don't have, and I say that in a positive way, of wanting to have this child. And yet, when I was pregnant, there was also the feeling of like, there's like an alien inside me. And there's something, connecting to the child and reminding, you get the ultrasounds and you're like, that looks like a skeleton devil. Like, I can't like, and now I'm like questioning everything, and
Yeah.
and so there's the fear, there's and I like always wanted to be pregnant. I always wanted that bump and that, I didn't think I'd grapple with feeling a loss of what like my old body looked like, or feeling like I was sharing something that I never thought I would share with someone else that I always want. Anyway, there was just like all these complex, conflicting emotions that I didn't anticipate. And I think, yeah. And so having that happen in a different way within the movie was like very relatable. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Jermaine, my last question is for you. And it's, you know, I really appreciated Manny as a character. I think that one of the things that this film does really well within that character is it flips characteristics that are so often gendered in a way that is not necessarily reflective of real life, but the way that we tell stories. And that he is the one who is self-sacrificial for his partner's dreams. He's the one that is more in touch with his emotions. He's the one that really wants that family. I want to know for you how it felt to get to represent a different kind of masculinity on screen.
I love you, by the way. Thank you.
I love
That's
you.
cool. That's that's definitely why I wanted to play the character. I've I was I've always just kind of wanted to do things differently as a father and as a man. I didn't want to repeat cycles, so I've always felt the same way about the roles I wanted to do. I didn't want to keep doing the same thing over and over, or things that were expected of me. As a Black male actor, I didn't want to do that and continue to do that. So when the scriptment came my way, it was it. I read it twice and I was just like, man, I've never seen this character on screen before. Um, and it didn't read funny. Like he's not the funny guy, right? He's not. He's just the center of the storm, right? So I was more intrigued to kind of be as still as I could in this sort of film. There's just to react, and it was an exercise, honestly.
You're so good.
Thank you so much. I appreciate. Thanks, Anna. It was truly something I wanted to just kind of experience and just be a part of. I've always wanted to. I've always been appreciative of silent films and films that don't that say less and show you more. And I wanted to kind of just exercise that muscle a little bit more. And I felt Monty. I felt Monty was the perfect sort of character to kind of portray that want, that need, that curiosity that I've always had.
Yeah, I think that really comes through. And I agree with Anna that you were excellent in it. You both are very great in this. So thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. I've had so much fun, and I know people are really going to love the drop, and I can't wait for them to get their eyeballs on it.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.